Welcome to Monster Monday. So tonight I'm going to be talking about Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. There's a little bit of story about this leading up to me reviewing it, so let's get into that. So this one is for Alan Prince, and so what happened was, Alan Prince, if you guys know my channel, you probably know this story already, but for those of you who do not, he was the guy who came on the channel and he became a patron just for someone else to give me a request to do. And he almost specifically did it for this one specific person. And I personally think they were extremely ungrateful for what he did for them. And I'm not really all that thrilled with that person. But that's a whole different story. And so when I was doing that patron video recently, where I was like, you know what, screw it. Anyone who's my patron right now, you get a whole new request, go ahead, throw me one. And Alan had already mentioned that he would like me to do Scout's Guide. So I was like, okay, sweet. After I realized, I had forgotten all about it. I was like, and he told me, and I was like, oh yeah, shit. Okay, I went back and I looked, and I was like, Scout's Guide, sweet. So then I looked on my phone, and I wanted to save it for this Monster Monday. Last one got taken by somebody else, and this one I was like, all right, perfect, here we go. So I saw on Just Watch, the Just Watch app, which is, man, it could be the greatest app ever, but it fucks up so often. Ugh. So it said it was on Vudu for, with ads for free. And I don't personally own it, which is a shame because this movie's amazing. And I watched it all the way up until the last 10 minutes. And my brother was being extremely persistent that he wanted to play video games with me right then and there. And I was just like, dude, I have 10 minutes left. And he's like, now. I was like, fuck, fine. And I shut it off. And we played until midnight. And then we got off. And I got back on Vudu to finish up the last 10 minutes of the movie. And it expired. Like the Vudu free thing, which has been on there for like the last month or two since I looked. It expired at midnight. So I went to press play and it was like, do you want to rent? This is no longer available for free. And I was like, what? Are you fucking kidding me? I have 10 minutes of this movie left. So I went on YouTube and I looked up final scene of Zombie Apocalypse, Scout's Guide. And they had this final fight, which went to the last 2 minutes of the movie and then cut off. And I was like, oh my God. So I needed 2 minutes for this fucking film to finish it so that I could do the review here. And I was like, I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to pay $4 for 2 minutes. I was like, I'm being cheap, I guess, but I don't want to pay fucking, So I went on my Facebook group and I was like, dude, is anyone awake that has Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse? Can you fucking take a video of the last 2 minutes of the damn movie and send it to me? And Slade, my buddy Slade, came in the crunch, man, and he did it for me. So thank you to Slade, thank you to Alan, and let's get into the review. So that was, and there was a bunch of other stuff that went with that, but it wasn't pertaining to this, so I'm not going to bore you with all of that, but holy shit. All right, so this was written and directed by Christopher Landon, the guy behind the Paranormal Activity franchise from 2 to the marked ones. He wrote 2, 3, 4, and 5. Actually, I don't know if he had as much involvement in 4. But definitely 2 and 3 and marked ones. 4? I think he had some involvement. I don't know. But he wrote and directed the marked ones, which is arguably my favorite in the franchise because, as you guys know, I'm a huge Paranormal Activity fan. And then he went off and he directed Happy Death Day, which he did not write. And then he did write and Happy Death Day to You. And he also wrote Viral as well, I really like Christopher Landon. I'm a big fan of his, I have to say. Now this movie stars Ty Sheridan, which was the star of Ready Player One recently, so he's definitely an up-and-comer. He's gotten some bigger roles here, and he was also Scott Summers in the X-Men reboot here in Dark Phoenix and in Apocalypse, and I think was that the first? No, I think Days of Futures Past. No, it was Apocalypse and then that one, I think. I think those are the only two he was in. Fuck, now I'm forgetting. Doesn't matter. But I really like this kid. And then we have Logan Miller here, who was recently in one of my favorite horror films of this year still, Escape Room. Big fan of that movie. I really do want to rewatch it and review it on here, like the full spoiler discussion, because man, I just thought that movie was tons and tons of fun, and I would love to revisit it. So, all right. So we got the opening here with the Workaholics janitor singing some silly pop song. I'm going to tell you guys, I have no shame in what I like and what I do at all. I don't give a shit. I do not ever try to pretend to be cool for 1 minute. I like all sorts of silly ass shit, and I'm very freaking loud and proud with it. This is so something I would do. This is so something I would do with some stupid song that people would be like, oh my God, he's into that? Yes. Okay? I'm into that. I like that. I don't care. I don't have to feel cool when I listen to something. I don't have to feel cool when I watch something. I don't have to go, oh man, this is popular, and if I listen to it, then everyone's just going to think I'm a sellout. Or if I like something, I like it. And I don't feel like, even people who say that they're like that, I feel like they're lying to themselves. Like, if I fucking like, whatever, you can name whatever is the lamest thing of the day, or of the year or whatever, whether it would be Nickelback or Taylor Swift or whatever. I'm not saying those are things I do or do not like. I'm just saying, like, whatever it is, if I listen to it, if there's a song by them or whatever, and maybe the rest of it's shit, but I'll be like, oh, I really like this one. Fucking own it. Own your shit, okay? This is a review, but this is also, this is an intervention for people who hate on shit because it's popular. Don't be lame. And don't just like things because they're unpopular. That doesn't make you cool either. Fucking losers. Just kidding. That got really judgy. All right. No, but seriously, guys, just be you. If something sounds good, don't worry about its merit. Like, film fans or music nuts would be like, oh, that's lame. That isn't talent. Who cares? If it sounds good to you and you like it, fuck it. All right? So I love this kind of stuff. How can you not tell me that this janitor, no matter how silly the damn song is, isn't having a great time? Just enjoying life. Letting all the fucking people just, shake it off, right, Taylor? Seriously. Anyway, all right. We've talked enough about that. I love when he kills the guy, or at least he thinks he kills the guy, and he goes to give him mouth to mouth, and his breath is so stinky that he takes Tic Tacs and shove it. This is a full-blown comedy. Anybody who takes a second of this movie seriously for 1 second is completely missing the point. See, here's something with movies like this. There's a big difference to me between self-aware horror comedy and movies that are trying to be so bad they're good. They're like two completely different films. There's the like, I'm making a shitty movie, but I'm trying to make it fun and nostalgic, and then there's the, I'm completely self-aware of how stupid my movie is, but I'm just doing it for fun. Like, those are, I know it seems similar, but I know I harp on one half, the trying to be so bad it's good, Sharknado kind of stuff. But then something like a horror comedy, I think people would maybe confuse the two and be like, but they're similar, right? Like, this is a horror comedy, this is a horror comedy. Not to me. And sometimes this can work. There are movies out there where you can do a so bad it's good kind of homage type film, like a Black Dynamite or something. They're rare. They do happen, but they're rare. But man, when they hit hard. So good stuff. It's just, it's risky. It's risky. Horror comedy's risky too. Horror comedy is really, really hard to nail. Blending the two, because you gotta really wonder, like, where are they going with it? It almost has to be almost an even blend. And if you're gonna go one way or the other, more so than the other, you're gonna try to go more comedy. Because if you're gonna go like a lot of horror and then throw in goofy shit comedy, like 10% of the time, it's going to throw the tone off your film completely. So if you're going to go in one direction over the other, you got to probably lean more towards whole comedy over it. But this one really blends. This one's definitely much more comedy. But I like how the horror is blended in, and there's lots of creative, fun things going on within this film that keep it fresh. Because I've said this recently. I think the last, like, maybe 5 years, if not less, zombies have been revitalized. This was a subgenre that was dying, dead, pun intended, I suppose. But it really was just like done, kaput. It was like, oh my God, another one. It's the same tired old shit. And I used to be able to tell you, like, first, second, and third act exactly what almost every zombie movie was going to do. And I've explained this formula before. I'm not going to reiterate it here. But it was a very specific formula that they would do with these movies. But lately, holy shit, have I seen so many incredible, original feeling. Not everything in them is original, of course. I don't think you can be truly original anymore. But for the most part, it actually feels original. And there's been tons of zombie movies. Horror comedy zombies. Because that's just it. When Shaun of the Dead was released, that's when everyone was like, oh, well, the zomcom is popular. So let's make all zombie movies comedies now. And there was a slew of them, from freaking Fido to Warm Bodies and that was like a zom-com rom-com. Like, they were like trying to throw everything in there. And Boy Eats Girl, and like it was just one after the other and Zombies of Mass Destruction and Dead and Breakfast, and I've seen so many zombie comedies. And while I like a lot of the titles I just happened to mention there, it did kind of get old to me after a little while. But when something feels as fresh as this does, and is nasty, like this movie is really kind of self-aware of how gross it is and just goes for it. Like, if you're gonna go for it, fucking go for it. Have dicks being ripped off bodies and all sorts of wild shit. And that's what you need here. You need jawless zombies eating girls out. You need, like, go for it. If you're gonna go for it, go for it. This movie does not get anywhere near enough attention for how good it is. Do I think it's like genre defining? Zombie comedies, I would say probably. Yeah, I think it's one of the best zombie comedies out there, period. There's things missing from it, though. I do wish it was a little longer. I felt like in the end it felt a little rushed. Still great. Like, everything I got I loved. And this is probably just me being greedy and wanting more. That's more than likely what it was, but for some reason, just like the way it ends, it's just so like, cars pull up, boom, and those are the 2 minutes. Because when it ended at David Koechner, however you say his name, Champ kind from Anchorman, when he gets blown up with that grenade is where the scene ends on YouTube. And I was like, where do I need the next however many minutes? And I realized there was probably only like 2 to 5 minutes left. And I was like, fuck, man, how are they wrapping this up in 2 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes? And when I watched it, it was like, boom, done. And the army guys pull up, they put their guns on him, they take him away, guy kisses the girl, end movie. It was like, okay, it's over. All right. Just, you felt like there's going to be more to it, and there just wasn't. So that's really my only like complaint, if you want to consider that a complaint. But yeah, there you go. All right, so getting back to the Tic Tacs in the mouth, which would of course go down if he was going to be trying to give him mouth to mouth, which he doesn't. He just tries to blow in his mouth. But if he came back to life, he would swallow him and choke to death on the Tic Tacs. So as I said, you can't take anything seriously. But to think about that when you're watching it is hilarious to me. And then he pushes on his chest. He's trying to give him chest compressions with CPR, which is the most important thing in that. And his hands go through the body like the Thing. I love that, man. That's one of the best scares of all time in any horror movie or in any film ever, is the chest collapse in 1982, John Carpenter's The Thing. Like, you're not apt to find a better scare sequence than that. It's just perfectly done. And so this is reminiscent of that, except for this is more of a comedic version. and it very much lands because you just don't expect it. He crushes his fucking chest open, boom, right into the guts, the gore, the gooey center of the Tootsie Pop. And so then you see like the guy, he's putting the dollar in the machine over and over and over again. And there's good setup comedy here for later. Like the guy's putting the dollar, then the chips come and it locks, and it's just that beating the dead horse kind of joke. And then the guy finally gets killed and the chips fall as he dies, and opening credits. Awesome stuff. That's just like really well put together comedy pieces. Like, how about we have him at the dollar machine, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then the chips fall, and then opening credits. It's you can just tell the attention to comedy. You can tell the attention, like the good attention here. It's like these guys get it. These guys, Christopher Landon, I should say, who wrote it, he gets it. That's why, for me, I think that freaking The Marked Ones is hilarious. I think that Paranormal Activity 2 is hilarious. I think 3. Sorry. I meant 3, and now I'm meaning 2. 3, I absolutely love the characters in 3. I think Dennis is hilarious. I think that the dad in 2 is really, really funny. And I think that what's his name? I can't believe I'm forgetting it right now. The Mexican friend. I mean, everyone in the movie is Mexican, but the friend, whatever. But he's hilarious. Sherlock Holmes, man. You're Sherlock Holmes. And I would say, and of course I'm going to give all the credit to the actors as well. Like, there's plenty of credit to give to them because they have to give those performances and they have to be genuinely charismatic and funny and whatnot. And they are. They're great. But after seeing Happy Death Day to You and after seeing, Happy Death Day as well, I love both. I think they're both. I think it's a great duology as it sits. If there's a third, there is. I would be open to it after how 2 ends. But, and then seeing, and Viral to my memory, I don't really remember Viral, so I can't really speak on that. But the Paranormal Activity franchise that he's worked on, that I'm well aware that he worked on. And even 4, if he did work on 4, I think the boyfriend is really funny. When he gives himself a high five, that was like one of the funniest things I saw in the theater that year. I just thought that was so fucking funny. That was probably ad-libbed by the guy, but he was funny throughout. So I think I'm going to give Chris Landon a bunch of credit for being a very funny guy. In case you don't know where I was going with all of that, funny, okay? Chris Funny. That's all I should have said. 2 words, and it would have summed all of that up without wasting all your time. Okay. And then... So they're driving. They want to leave the Boy Scouts. That opening Boy Scouts videos it's a little cheesy. It's a little on the nose. It's like, yeah, we've seen this before. They get it. They make low quality videos, and they're like, yay, join the Scouts. That's okay. And I would say probably my favorite character in the movie is Logan Miller's character here. I just think he's hilarious in this. I love everything that comes out of the guy's mouth. But everyone's funny in it. And then, so they hit the deer driving, and they're having their conversation. The sister pulls up, and you got the freaking deer is just gone in the background, and it goes and it attacks the scout leader here, and the scout leader just kind of becomes the reoccurring joke throughout the movie, just the character that can never die, no matter what you do to him, which isn't completely original. I mean, as I said, you can't be completely original, but the way they inject him into this, the way the way he comes back and the moments that he comes back in, they're well timed and they're well placed. So it doesn't become overbearing, and it doesn't become a joke that's like, okay, I get it. It's just enough. It's just the right balance. This is a very well balanced comedy. And then, Denise. All the girls in this are beautiful. I mean, they hired gorgeous women. Big shocker. But Denise, I don't know. I'm definitely not saying this is a complaint, because I'm not if I don't get what I want, then I'm not happy. No, I'm not that guy, so I'll be fine with it. But I feel like the ending of this movie is almost risky, because typically what we would get is Denise would be the love interest. Like, he would think he was into his buddy's sister. But in reality, throughout the rest of the movie, he would be falling in love with Denise. And when he went to do the kiss on her, he would have like got halfway there or done the kiss on her and then been like, no, that's not what I really want. What I really want is Denise. And you feel like that's coming, and it never does. Why I like it is because A, it's unexpected. I feel like you think you're gonna see the better off dead. Like you think he wants Beth the whole time, but he really wants the French girl, which I'm with him 1,000,000,000%. But I guess the difference is Beth is a total fucking bitch in that movie, and his sister isn't. Like his sister is a legit good girl in this. When she finds out her brother really wasn't invited by this idiot, Patrick Schwarzenegger, Arnold's son, she tells him to fuck himself, and he even hits her. Holy shit, man! They made this guy a total douchebag, which is such an obvious play. Like I've always said that in the past. Like when movies do that, like the boyfriend she's currently dating is an asshole thing. It's such a convenience. I don't want to say a cop out, but it's way more interesting to me when the choice is a little more tough. When it's like, this guy's awesome, but I really like this guy too, and there's not that easy out. Like I don't like when the writers go for he's cheating on you, like The Wedding Singer, or any basic comedy you watch where the boyfriend, the guy who's pining after the girl finds out the boyfriend is truly a douchebag and he's cheating on her and all that. That makes it very easy. It makes it simple. It's like, oh, well, then that's her choice is simple here. So that kind of stuff is whatever for me. But the choice to have him actually go for the sister is interesting. It's just different. I wouldn't expect it. I would expect him to turn around. So I like it, even though I prefer Denise. But in reality, he's been crushing on this dude's sister since like the 6th grade. And I want to say they're like, what, sophomores or juniors now? Something like that. So it's been a long time. It's been 5-6 years. And this girl is gorgeous, obviously, and she's got a good heart. So I understand that he would go for her. It makes sense because that's who he's into. But in the film, that's the only time we actually spend with them. It seems like he's more connected to Denise because they're together throughout this movie. But I still respect the opinion. All right. I'm, of course, rambling as usual. And when they try to... Okay, first, they see that there's a bouncer missing from the strip club. Okay, he's probably just inside the door. That's ridiculous that they're like, oh my God, he's gone. Let's sneak in immediately. Like, A, you'd get kicked out instantly by the bartender, by the strippers, by whoever. But like, who let you in here? You guys are obviously kids. You're dressed in fucking Boy Scout outfits. But the bartender or the bouncer's not there at the door for 1 second. Okay, he's inside talking to somebody, or he's, around the corner for 1 second. Like, the odds of you actually getting inside and staying. But the friend is just like, fuck it. He just wants to try to get inside. The stripper comes out on the stage, leans her head back, blood all over him. Hilarious, awesome stuff. And then the bouncer comes through and he's attacking them, and boom, the gore in this movie is beautiful at times. We got a lot of head explosions, and this guy's coming in at him. He's in the toilet, he's in the stall, and boom, here comes Denise with a shot coming from behind. Boom. Amazing. That's her name, right? I have it written down here, but then, yeah, it's Denise, yes. I'm like, is that the sister's name? No. I can't remember her name right now. Names. I'll write them down one day, people. I really will. Okay, so then they leave. Oh, the head explosion is beautiful, though. I can't say good enough about that kind of stuff. Like when there's a head up close against the screen and he's like coming at you and it just explodes without a cutaway. Amazing. Okay, this is where CGI actually works. That looks fucking amazing. And there's a lot of CGI gore in this, and all of it's good. That's what's weird. People are like, oh, fucking CGI should never be in horror. And I'm one of them. But I can honestly say in this movie, there's practicals too. Don't get me wrong, there is. But for the most part, the gore in this is CG. And it's great. Like when he's shooting those balls that he like, MacGyvers this thing together, and he shoots these like wooden balls through their heads, and there's like, it goes like through 3 heads in a row, or like one from the side, and the whole head kind of explodes like that. Awesome. It's awesome. It doesn't take away from the movie at all. You couldn't do it practically. You just couldn't. You couldn't have it look even semi good and do it. I guess you could do it practically, but it wouldn't look as good. So this is like one of the rare instances where I actually prefer the CG over it. Not that there isn't great exploding heads in it, but you can't have a guy going and coming at it and his head exploding all in one without like a quick cut to the head exploding. It's just different, and in the way it looks, I love it, I have to say. So call me a hypocrite. I usually am against CGI in horror. I love it in action and stuff like that. Fucking give it to me all day. But in horror, I usually don't like it. But here, I'll dig it. So I guess it's probably just dependent on the budget. And they actually put a decent budget behind the gore because they can do amazing things now. You don't think CGI artists that can fucking bring Tarkin back from the dead and de-age Samuel Jackson from an entire movie couldn't make the most amazing gore you've ever seen? It's just that horror doesn't have a budget. That is why people don't like CGI in horror. I'm going to tell you right now, if they had a budget, if they had a fucking Marvel budget on a horror movie and they did the most impressive gore you've ever seen in your life, all of a sudden you'd be like, well, in fact, you'd probably think it was practical. All right. The Dolly Parton stuff's pretty funny to see his house all up like that. I don't know if they're getting at that he's gay, but you don't have to be gay to be into that kind of stuff. It's just, one would assume. You can be wrong, though. What's up with their buddy here wiping one sheet at a time? Is that a thing that I'm unaware of? Is that like a Boy Scout thing? I don't know what the hell that was. I was like, what? I guess it's like leaves, maybe? He's just like, he takes one sheet, each one, and puts it up on the counter and then takes one. This movie, as I said, it's nasty, man. We get to watch this kid wipe his ass. And then the zombies in this are different. They're not like typical zombies. There's all sorts of different attributes that they have. One even like gets down on all fours and his spine's coming out, and we never get another one really like that, so that was weird and kind of random. But then they have the ability to talk. They have the ability to have some motor functions from before, like dancing, singing, all sorts of little things. So they're not limited in this. And then, I love when they're Britney Spears singing with him. Oh, baby, baby. So, good stuff. And when she's like, are they really singing Britney Spears with a zombie right now? Good stuff. The zombie tits, hilarious, dude. When she rips him out and they're in slow motion and he has to come up and cop a feel on a cop. Ha 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 ha. Fucking great. Just great. They're back and forth and he's all in slow-mo looking at him. Come on. Any guy would be doing it, no matter what situation he was in. Especially, I shouldn't say any guy, but a 16-year-old kid who's that horny and this and that and, probably hasn't really seen boobs in his life in actuality, like in his presence, outside of maybe like accidentally walking in on his mom or something, or his sister. Oh, man. His sister. Holy shit. That would fuck you up, right? Your sister's that hot and you walk in on her naked. I mean, you're not supposed to like it, but come on now. They find out they're gonna bomb the town in 2 hours, and these guys really care for people enough that they don't just run out of town. They have the ability to just run away. And if you can say without a shadow of a doubt that you would do the same, I don't know. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying it's questionable. Like, if you had the chance. Now, if it was your kids or something, I believe you. But your sister, I could believe it from him and his crush on her, but their friend and the girl, like, would she really be on it? I don't know. But she takes off. So she's not typically she's not really in on it, but she does come back for them. So these are good people. You got 4 really good people here. And then we get the gummy ass bite. The grandma's teeth fall out and she gums his ass. Is it completely original? No, I don't care, because it's hilarious. His reaction's great. The way it's done is great. The dick grab, of course. I mean, this is probably an iconic scene from the movie, from people who love it. Grabs onto the dick. He's falling out. Old man's dick is stretching. And he rips off, falls onto the thing, comes over, has it still in his hand. They scream. He throws it over the fence and it lands in a mouth. It's just that one extra little bit. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little extra. See, a little David Kochner humor there. Although, wait. He's the boss in the first one, yes. I actually love Still Waiting. No one ever likes that movie or ever even talks about it, but I think it's a great sequel. I love Agnew. I love all those characters. I love that movie. I don't know why people don't like the sequel. It's fucking fantastic. Anyway, but it's just that little extra. It's him throwing the dick over and it catching in the mouth. He could have just thrown it aside, but he throws it over, and it could be too much, but it isn't. It's just funny. The zombie catches the dick in its mouth. Good stuff. And then, okay, so this girl goes like, he's like, come on, let's have sex. And she's like, no. And he's like, can you at least blow me? And she's like, all right, you can eat me out. This is a rare moment here. It's not impossible. This happened to me, actually. And that's all that happened that night. And that's all that ever happened with that girl. Fuck. Okay? It's about time a girl got that on the other end of it, because how many times has it happened on the flip side of things, where the guy just gets blown and the girl's sitting there like, don't I get anything? Okay, so every once in a while this should have to. Actually, it shouldn't. It should never happen on either end. You give, you get. That's the way it should be. Reciprocation. All right. But she's like, you can eat me out, and then fucking throws headphones on and starts watching like a music video or like a reality TV or some shit. What the fuck? This kid is that horny? I'm gonna guess he's gonna probably pleasure himself while he does it or something. I don't know exactly what pleasure he would get out of this, except for maybe just a story to tell his friends. Although I personally love doing it, but that's probably too much information for all you. But don't watch my channel if you don't want information from me, because I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give it to you after I said that. Holy shit, bad timing. Okay. But then the fucking zombie comes in, and of course they set it up earlier, showing this jawless zombie to fall down there and start licking on her, and she's like, "Ooh, she's actually into it." And you don't got this in the way, so you can just go straight tongue. But then you miss out on. No, okay, we're not gonna go too much information there. Jesus Christ! All right, and then as I said, Jeff, the Schwarzenegger character here, of course, is a cunt. And then the makeshift weapons. Oh god, they're all so good. The knives on the weed whacker, the dart crossbow, or the nail crossbow that he makes, which is probably my least favorite of the three. It really doesn't do much of anything. So I wish they would have got a little more inventive. So I'll stick with the ball shooter and the knives on the weed whacker, because he goes and he takes it to their heads, and their heads just start breaking apart all the way down to the neck and then fall over. CGI, beautiful. Okay, can be done. And then the balls through the head, great stuff. And the whole Rambo prep and all that, so good. I always love those Rambo montages. Even when they're like parodies, like in Loaded Weapon or something, when he has all this shit. Shit, they even do an Ernest Scared Stupid, and he falls over because he can't even hold the weight of everything. Which I think they do the same gag in Loaded Weapon. Which one came out first? Probably around the same time. Shit, I don't know. And then he's all bummed because the chick he's into, Logan Miller's character, he's all into this chick, and he gets there and he's like, oh no, not you. Like, I get that, man. The chick he was into, but she was never gonna go for him anyway. And then he makes a bomb. They didn't just happen to notice their friend was sitting there making a bomb, I'm pretty sure. And he's like, what are you, the Taliban? Now my fucking video's flagged. Great. I said bomb and Taliban. Oh, and I said it again. There you go. It's censored. And the friendship in this movie is just so believable. I think that's another thing that I need to point out here of why this movie works so damn well. It's just three, especially Logan Miller and Ty Sheridan. Like the third kid, he's good, and I like him. Don't get me wrong, but the two there are amazing. And then, as I said, you got the other friend, and then you've got Denise, and they work really well with them as well. So everybody in this movie really works well. And then the school blowing up as they come down the garbage chute and all that. I don't know. The whole thing blowing up behind you has been overplayed, but the way this is done, I like it. So. Anyways, I kind of already talked about the ending. And then there's a post-credits sequence in this movie where a bird shits on the Scoutmaster's head after he's been decapitated by the bomb. And he's like, oh. And then he looks at the screen and is like, okay, the end. And the credits roll. It's cool. It's a nice little cute ending of the movie. In case you, for some reason, didn't catch it, I actually looked at it. I found it because I was Googling like where the, you know, ending was, and it was like post-credit sequence. And I'm like, oh, I'm glad I know there's one now. I probably wouldn't have waited for one. But there you go, guys. So thank you to Alan Prince. Thank you to Slade Shepard for getting that out to me in a timely manner. That was amazing. You guys rock. And as always, if you got an extra buck, if you got an extra couple bucks, whatever, go over to my Patreon. Donate to the channel. It really helps. It really does. And you can request something here for me to babble about and tell you about how much I like oral sex and whatnot. All the information you needed to know, you can get. Just ask. All right, guys. Adios.